Imagine a glass-like vibrant orange surface of a globe. It glows faintly, hiding a symbolic representation of a star within. It is absolutely massive, but it is neither a moon nor a planet. Although in the right conditions, it could pass for one. Watch. The golden scales are moving. The serpent-like body of the dragon of all dragons is shifting. The creature is moving in its sleep. It will wake up when someone calls it, with a head large enough to devour whole worlds. It sleeps in a realm away from our own. Now imagine a lone, green-skinned individual venturing through the orange globe as it seeks to find the tiniest of flaws on the surface. A flaw, mind you, that wouldn't be visible from all that far away. As for the observer, the gigantic orb is absolutely immaculate. The individual peers at the Dragon of Dragons, who is in a deep and satisfying sleep. It covers the entire sky, as the whole idea of a sky is too tiny to even contain it. If it appeared in our world, it would dwarf galaxies, and in one wrong movement could reshape the universe as we know it, and it wouldn't even know that it had happened. The Green Man knows that, so he is very hesitant to wake the creature up. Now, usually, the orbs and the dragon only occupy the same space for very short periods of time, but this is happening before that this rule had been set up, so things were a little bit more fluid. Imagine as he, the lone wanderer, begins to pick up his chisel, which today we would call primitive, and starts to chip off a piece of this immaculate globe. At the time, you could say that this was sacrilegious behavior, but today, the globes are hidden within deep myth and legend. But something remains. A remnant. A reminder. It took the Green Man ages to shape the chunk into what we know today. But this time, it can fit in the palm of his hand. Imagine the glass-like vibrant orange surface of the orb. The Green Man holds it in his hand, watching a single star form within. While it may seem very fragile, even the strongest warrior of his tribe would be unable to crush it or even scratch it. The man smiles and starts to shape another one. He needs more than one. 7. Yes, 7's a good number. As the months pass, each time he holds one of these orbs, differentiated only by the number of stars contained within its vessel, he feels like he is dealing with something truly grand and profound. A piece that could give birth to new worlds, a beating heart of the universe itself. And this piece, this beating heart, becomes the heart of his people, and it would be passed through generations. It becomes encoded in their very being, deeper than the deepest of memories. Was it there because the Green Man took a piece of the globe? Or was it always there, just waiting for the act to awaken it? I am afraid it is impossible to say, as those who remember those times, they're either unwilling or unable to talk. Now imagine the glass-like vibrant orange surface of a marble, and Bansuri is holding one right now.
Dad,
the voice echoed in the tent.
Bansuri,
Piccolo said the name of the kid in disbelief, hearing his speaking voice for the first time.
You can talk.
I guess so.
The tiny Namekian rotated the tiny marble in his hand, but for now, decided not to inform his father about the details of them. He instead put it in a tiny pocket in his little outfit.
That's wonderful. I'm glad that you were able to overcome whatever was bothering you. There are so many questions everyone wants to know.
Piccolo stopped for a while, as he realized that he might be putting a lot of pressure on the kid.
But we shall do that whenever you feel ready. Let's get some air.
Elder Mori and the other members of the village welcomed them as they left the tent, seemingly interested to see if the ritual had been successful in any shape or form.
And How was it?
Mori's wrinkled face was slightly moving in anticipation.
I don't know, Elder. How was it for you, kid?
Scary at first, but also pretty. I saw many colors. Gold, orange, green.
Bansuri said a full sentence which caused all of the Namekians to drop their jaws in disbelief.
He speaks now! So the plan worked!
The elder smiled triumphantly.
He does. I don't know how I can ever repay you, Mori,
said Piccolo, bowing his head politely.
There's no need to do any of that. You are one of us. You fought valiantly to defend our home. You carry the memory of Nail. You are family. You both are.
The son of the Demon King looked toward the kids. They were welcoming Bansuri excitedly, like one of their own. They immediately invited him to play with them. And as his son turned his head to look at his father for approval to go and play, he got a nod and a smile. The rest of the day was a cause for celebration. They still had some time for Goku to pick them up, if the training went well, of course. When he had a moment alone with Mori, he decided to have a bit of a heart-to-heart, unearth some troubled truths.
He seems to be having fun. I'm envious. I never had a childhood like that.
The elder smiled.
Our childhoods, while brief, are usually filled with happiness and innocence. We are trying to make use of the time we have. That's why it deeply frustrates me that Frieza tried to take it away from us, from so many of our youngest. Some of them have grown up and will forever be tainted by that. Especially Dende. Maybe this is a better place for Bansuri.
Piccolo looked in an uncharacteristically somber manner at the child.
Well, now that you can communicate with him, you should ask him which home he would like to be at. It would be wrong to do anything without his consent. He would feel abandoned if you acted on your own abandoned.
Big Green repeated, remembering his own upbringing. He never thought about it that way. After all, evil as he was, King Piccolo never intended to abandon him. I mean, he was on the brink of death. What could he have done? But on the other hand, he created him for his own selfish desires, not as an act of love. And even on his darkest days, when he was the most adamant about following in his father's stead, he had that hidden grudge of his father's, though at the time, he was unwilling to admit it. He remembered the feeling and never wanted to give Bansuri anything remotely similar to that. But alas, his future kid, was happy here. He was sure that future Takiko, would agree to that. And if they had that option, he would just allow the little Namekian to grow up here, on Namek, with his own people. But he did need to have a talk about this with the youngling. And the scary thought was that scared him more than any fight he had ever fought had on him. Was that really how parenthood worked? He should ask Goku about it, but he reminded himself that his methods were rather unorthodox, even for a Saiyan. So maybe either Chi-Chi or Bulma would have been better candidates to ask such matters. Definitely not Vegeta though. Poor Trunks. Hopefully the lad would be fine after spending so much time with him. He found Bansuri sleeping with the rest of the children. He gently woke him up.
Hey kid, you sleep okay?
Yeah.
He yawned.
Can I get some water?
Sure you can.
As he handed the water to his son, he pondered for a while before speaking.
So, you like it here?
Oh yeah, they're like me, and it's peaceful.
Bansuri smiled excitedly. Piccolo scratched his neck nervously, unsure how to proceed.
So, would you like to stay here?
Bansuri's eyes widened.
Would we stay here? Us? Together? Live with them?
I was thinking more just you.
He felt as if the kid had started to shake.
Until it's safe on Earth, of course.
No. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. I don't want to leave Gohan and Trunks.
Tears started to appear in his eyes. Bad call.
Don't worry. If you don't want to, we'll go back to Earth together. It's just, I feel that you might be safe here.
I'm safer with you, and with Gohan, and with everyone. I like it here, but you guys are my family.
Piccolo felt as if his throat was getting very dry. He could go for some water right now. And to be fair, he understood the kid. And in the following days, he got to care for him very deeply. On the other hand, would anyone be able to defeat Cell to make Earth safe? But still, he had to remember that Bansuri was not an ordinary Namekian. He was something else. From what he saw in the ritual, he was as much as his son as he was the reincarnation of himself and Kami. The true heir of the nameless Namekian was right there, true. Now that he had fused with his other half, so was he. But he couldn't be sure if Bansuri was truly at peace. But there was a way, he thought. A way to spend more time with this kid in a safe space.
All right, Bansuri. When Goku picks us up, we'll go home.
Thanks, Dad.
His little face brightened up.
But we can visit Namek from time to time, right?
Maybe if Goku teaches one of those tricks with teleportation or something. I hate to be a burden on him.
A familiar Saiyan face then entered the room, interrupting their conversation.
Speak of the devil or the monkey man, in this case. What's with the Super Saiyan hair?
Piccolo noticed that his friend had now transformed into his elevated state, yet didn't look troubled or stressed. And he was acting actually very casual.
Oh, this? Oh, well, it's the effect of the training and all. Hi, Goku.
Bansuri waved his little hand at him.
Oh, you can talk now? Hey, that's great.
Yeah, we had some breakthroughs. How are things looking on Earth?
Goku sighed deeply.
Well, let's just say Cell achieved his goal, but Trunks managed to trick him into making a tournament, so he bought us some time. We got about, 10 days or so?
Wait, don't tell me that
Vegeta, yeah. From what Tenshinhan told me, you shouldn't be worried though, because I got a plan.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Goku smiled.
Should I be worried about this plan?
Piccolo narrowed his gaze.
Oh, no, not at all. So, you guys ready to go home?
Yeah, but first, let us just say our goodbyes.
After thanking Mori and the other Namekians for everything that they had done, Piccolo sat Bansuri on his massive shoulder pads and got closer to Goku, who then instantly transmitted them back to Earth. No one at the time had realized that Bansuri had made sure that his little marble was still tucked away inside his pocket. Back on the lookout, the moods were very sour, but they immediately improved when everyone saw Bansuri talking, as they ran to and then he ran to Takiko to give him a massive hug. "You're talking, buddy! Oh, I'm so happy!"
Thank you for taking care of me. I'm sorry we've never talked before. I don't know why, but I could understand everything you were saying.
How did you even manage to do this, Mr. Piccolo?
It's an old Namekian ritual of communion or something. Alright, bit of rest, Bansuri, and then we're going in the time chamber.
What? You want to take a toddler inside?
Trunks seemed shocked by that.
He's no toddler, Trunks, and I feel that we can both benefit from this. We got about 10 days, right? Just trust me with this.
I trust you, Mr. Piccolo. But me and Trunks are next. I don't know if Vegeta will be coming in next, but I think he's running out of pairs that will actually train with him. And I'm unsure if he's crazy enough to try it alone, Trunks nodded slowly.
Father's ego was shattered by the perfect form of Cell. And to be honest, so was mine. He seems formidable.
Krillin then chimed in. Well, on the bright side, Bulma was repairing Android 16 to work on our side. He decided to help us against Cell all on his own. Both Takiko and Trunks seemed unconvinced though, but Piccolo knew how capable that machine was. And if he lost both of his friends, then well, what other option did he have? He could be a valuable ally. He could also see that his son was a little bit nervous of the prospect of a time chamber, but unlike staying on Namek, he wasn't objecting to this. Which was good. There was something in this child. Something that he had to teach him how to harness. Maybe it could be instrumental in Cell's defeat. Or maybe even more than that. Who knows? When the kid was ready, he nodded to his allies, and together, they walked through the door and into the time chamber. Bansuri took Piccolo's hand, with his other hand resting on the top of the marble that was in his pocket.
I don't want to fail my dad,
he thought to himself, and he didn't realize that a tiny glow was emanating from said pocket and that a tiny lizard-like being was sleeping inside. Something had changed. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.